Thank you and welcome back to Race Industry Week 2023, brought to you by Epart Trade, Racer, and Speed Sport. And Mr. Jeff Hammond is back with us. We are on for a very special session next. I'm being told that Jessica is being brought to the panel with us. And as soon as she's on, Jeff, we'll let you carry on.
And I'm certainly jealous because Jessica's down in Nashville right now.
Oh, yeah, that's a good place to be because you got to remember that I guess the NASCAR Championship banquet is going on in Music City, and we are very fortunate to be able to have Jessica with us today. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
So how are things in Nashville right now, Jessica?
They're good. There's a buzz in the air. I think there's always a buzz in the air here, though, and it definitely a chill in the air. It's a little bit chillier here than it was in North Carolina when I left this morning.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, it hadn't gotten any warmer over here. I promise you that right now. Thing is, Jessica, I really, like I say, really appreciate you, taking time out of your busy schedule, because I want folks to not only understand about something that's very close to my heart, and I'm talking about North Wilkesboro, but I wanted you to be the one who could share something that maybe very few people can. And that is, back when you and I really kind of got to communicating was one Saturday at North Wilkesboro, when a group of about 100 to 130 people, maybe a little few more, maybe a few less, but the thing is, there was a group of first responders and people within the county that came out to basically give you an illustration of how bad, and this was kind of like the motto, we want you back, to show you and Marcus, because again, you're a representative of SMI. And like I say, the first time that I met you up there and everything, what was your impression of that day, and what did that do for as far as when you went back to Charlotte? What was the message you took back?
I don't even think I made it back to Charlotte. I called him from 421 on the road, and just seeing the way the community cared about the place, it left me with this, this drive to, okay, we got to do something. And to be honest, a NASCAR race, that probably wasn't really in my mind at the time, but there's all sorts of kinds of racing, right? And this event right now just proves that. So, I knew that there was something we had to do, that the love and the care that community had for North Wilkesboro Speedway was just, you can't touch it. Like, no other track has that in their communities like North Wilkesboro does, North Wilkesboro Speedway. And just having grown men come up to you and talk about them going to the track with their grandfather and their fathers and how they wish they could take their kids there. It was just something so special. And I that's when I realized how much that place really meant to a lot of people.
Well, again, you wound up spending a lot of time there. And even after your first experience up there, you weren't really in charge of it at that time. But whenever Marcus, I guess, approached you and again said, "Hey, I want you to make this happen," what was your first thoughts? I mean, what were you overwhelmed with the task that you were being given? And at the same time, that I saw it from my viewpoint, and that was, whoa, they're wanting a lot of things to happen in a short period of time. Can we meet the expectations that are being put up?
Yeah, so to answer the first part of that question, I was not worried at first because I thought he was talking about 2024, not 2023. And then in the next 10 seconds, he said, no, like in 8 months, then the panic set in. But Speedway Motorsports, I mean, we're a great company, a big company. We have amazing people that work for us. Steve Swift is kind of my partner in crime. We were together when Marcus talked to us, and we knew right then and there we could do it. We could do it. We had to make a couple phone calls, but we said, give us a couple hours. And he had NASCAR's blessing that, hey, if you guys can get it done and it can be safe, we're all for it. We're behind it. We love this idea. And when we went back to them and said, yeah, we think we can do it, it was just wide open. It was, I think, probably about 8 months from the time we put the shovel in the ground till we opened up the gates that Tuesday night.
I want to make sure we don't get going too fast here. Let's talk a little bit about, you mentioned Steve Swift. And again, I think that, you guys make a heck of a team. It's kind of like, you take care of the media and a lot of the paperwork stuff, and let me have the shovel. Steve's a great engineer, and I don't think there's a problem or a task that he has ever been given based off of getting to know him and understanding his background, that he hasn't been able to do not only meet the task, but exceed it each and every time. And there was a lot of stuff that needed to be done at that racetrack, besides just killing a few weeds before you could think about running a race.
Yeah, and we had trees growing out of grandstands, buildings that were completely not safe. When we had Barry's event in August, which was kind of that electric in the air moment, when we had the streets were lined up with cars and tens of thousands of people were walking into that place that hadn't seen that in 30 years. And, I still get goosebumps when I talk about it, but not having, and we told Barry, hey, you guys, here's the keys, but there's no running water, there's no toilets, you got to get Porta Johns, you got to bring in floodlights. So we really were starting from ground zero.
It brings me back when I was reviewing the history of this racetrack, that situation in August of 2022, I think you may have had a little bit of a understanding or better appreciation of what Enoch Staley went through the first time he held a race at that track. I mean, they ran out of money and decided we got to put a race on so we can, kind of keep moving on. And I really kind of like it's daunting when you think about they built a racetrack for $1,500 and rushed through it. It was a dirt track, but expecting a crowd of 3,000 and for it to come out to be 10,000, it's almost like what you did. I mean, you guys were prepared for X, but all of a sudden you got Y.
Yep. Yeah.
And I think it was the kind of why that, having being there, it was just like, am I having a dream?
Yeah, and it was interesting. So when Marcus gave us the green light, okay, NASCAR's on, we're going to announce it in a couple of weeks. I felt like I had the first round draft pick out of our company for every facet, whether it be the parking, the traffic, the marketing, and I just called the best of that we have in the business, and I formed my team, and we were off and running before before the end of that day. So it was a lot of planning, a lot of hands in the, hands on deck, and people having to come in from Las Vegas and California, all of our different tracks, and everybody just fell in love with the place too. It's something really special.
From the time in August and the success you had there, the announcements that were made afterwards going into 2023, did you take another step back and a deep breath and saying, we did it once, but can we do it again? Can we meet this here? Because I mean, all of a sudden it went from being, let's just get maybe a cars tour up there, another maybe smart modified tour race here. I mean, that'd be pretty good. But all of a sudden now you've got an all-star event. There again, what was your reaction? And again, I saw the end result, but tell me what the first time when you thought about it, what was going on?
Yeah, it was a lot of pressure. I don't want to say panic, but it was a lot of pressure. Because at that point, everything was great with the August race. Now we're having this all-star race, and now everybody wants to know, well, what are you going to do about traffic? Is it going to be like it was in the 80s? I couldn't get in there so that just started coming at you at all ends, and that started to kind of get a little overwhelming. And you've been around for a long time. We've had challenges at
easy
Kentucky
there, easy.
Well, I was there too. When we opened Kentucky and Texas, we had Bruton out there directing traffic, and that was the only thing. I'm like, every day I'm like, I cannot have Marcus directing traffic. Like, it's got to be spot on. And I'll tell you what, the local law enforcement, the DOT, we could not have done anything without them. The neighbors, we had meetings with the neighbors constantly. It was a lot of communication, probably too much, but it ended up working at the end. But it would not have happened if everybody wasn't pulling in the same direction.
Again, you've worked at a lot of these racetracks. You've been involved in this business. I mean, I think people do not appreciate, but you were an intern in the very beginning, working for SMI, and you have literally climbed the ladder. Everybody, including myself, admire you because of your tenacity, your willingness to work through problems and bring people in and strangers and turn them into a team that has really become very successful. And I think North Wilkesboro has got to be I don't know, it's got to be one of your crowning satisfactions. Because I mean, you've been through so many projects from Atlanta to Las Vegas, but this one right here, I mean, it's definitely got your stamp on it.
Yeah, it absolutely is. If I left tomorrow, I would be a happy person for what I did in my career, just the people I got to work with, like, and not only from my team, but just like I said, the community. And yeah, it was really, really rewarding. And I remember Winston Kelly, who, for those of you that don't know him, he opened up the Hall of Fame, been around for everybody probably knows him. He pulled Steve Swift and I aside, and he said, you know, when that race starts, you guys step away and take a minute and just, you know, take it all in. And I'm so glad we did that, because you know, you're going so fast, and at the end of the day, you don't remember everything. So he and I did that, and that was really a really special moment. And I'm glad we got to do that.
You know, if I had to make a comparison, I did something like that at Charlotte Motor Speedway the night they turned the lights on.
Yeah.
And the first time we raced under the lights there, I was totally overwhelmed, and my mind was blown, because number one, there still were a lot of naysayers. Can't do it. Can't do it.
Yep.
And this is something that SMI has been kind of like known for. Tell me we can't, and we're going to sit there and rub your nose in it when we did.
That's
you know,
right.
type deal. And I think that night, when they said, "Gentlemen, start your engines," I don't think that I've ever had more of a lump in my throat than I did that particular moment. And seeing how wonderful everything turned out was it was almost unimaginable.
Yeah.
And I think the other thing too, and I want to see what your take on this is, the community continued from the prior to that August event all the way through. It seemed like the momentum of the community grew and grew, including the All-Star Parade downtown, the Hauler Parade. Everything just seemed like, you know, we're in Las Vegas, we're in Charlotte, you know, we're not in the hills of North Carolina, because all these people were, I mean, out in force.
Yeah, they were. And I that Hauler Parade, you bring that up, I remember we went to both downtowns and participated in different things. And, you know, I've been to hundreds of hauler parades, and I've never seen a hauler parade where the hauler drivers are videoing everything. They were just as excited to be there. Like, they were just like, I think they were in awe too, you know, like it was so not just for the community and the fans, the people in the industry were just, you know, especially people that have been around and maybe had been there, you know, from before when it closed. I think Kevin Harvick, was he the only one that actually raced there? And Chase?
Yeah, he'd been up there in practice and stuff, you know, when he first went to work for Richard Childress, and he had probably the most experience on the track.
Yeah, and like the rest of the field probably wasn't even born yet when it closed. So it was pretty neat just to kind of take in, you know, all the different aspects from the fans and the industry and the community. It was just you're, you know, riding on cloud nine for sure.
Well, you know, I'm kind of monitoring our time here, so I've got us, you know, started, got it all up here. But guess what? You got a chance to do it again.
Oh, you do.
And you know, what can we expect this year? Because you did so much, and I'm gonna probably have to bring some of it back up to talk about this. But what kind of plans do you have this year that will differ from what you did last year? And I'm going to start right on the get-go. A lot of concern about the racetrack, but now you've got a total brand new repave. Yep. Steve Swift has worked his magic. how's this going to affect what we're looking at, and what can we expect?
Well, we're hoping we have a little bit better racing. You know, I mean, all the other series we thought did really well.
Right.
Just didn't know what to expect with the package with the, you know, the cup cars. But we're gonna have some tire tests and wheel force tests coming up in early spring. So we're really hoping that NASCAR's already been out, looked at it. Goodyear's going to come out and look at the track. So we're really hoping that we kind of tweak some things and make some changes to the, you know, minor changes that can give us a little bit more competition on the track. As far as how the week is going to go, it'll probably look the same. We're going to fill it with lots of racing. We've got the Cars Tour schedule that came out yesterday. I'm not sure if everybody saw that, but they're going to be there 2 days, All-Star Week, and then their season finale is going to end there in October 18th and 19th. So we're super excited to have them there twice. And then we'll have, you know, the pit crew competition again, the concerts like we had before, the hauler parade. So we're pretty much going to mirror everything. It hasn't broke yet, so we're not going to fix it, but we're going to tweak it and make it a little bit better. So
yeah. With that being said, you talk about the other events and everything, which is just, like I said, the All-Star event. What can you tell us about as far as the rest of the year? I mean, you know, and I know a racetrack is not going to survive having 2 races a year.
Yep.
So what other things can we expect out of North Wilkesboro as far as, you know, the track is concerned?
So we've got a modified race on the books for the fall. And then, like you said, we got the Cars finale there in the fall. We're working with, I saw a couple of the other panelists throughout the thing, we're, you know, these sessions, and we're working with some of them on some announcements coming soon. We had a car show last month, 2 months ago now, I think it was. And we're going to do more car shows. We've got a couple Corvette clubs and coming down. I think one guy's got 2,000 Corvettes coming down from Pennsylvania.
Whoa. How many?
2,000. So they're
2,000 Corvettes.
Yeah. So they're doing a tour from Pennsylvania all the way down to Florida. And they want to stop at Norfolk. So we're talking to him. And so, you know, we want our doors to be open. I think all of our Speedway Motorsports tracks pretty much are great examples of we don't shut the doors and just have races. We try to do a lot of things, especially around the community. Speedway Children's Charities, which is our charitable arm. Each track has their own Speedway Children's Charities. And in a couple of weeks, we're going to give away a little over $200,000 to kids in need in Wilkes County. So, you know, a lot of events. We're going to get a lot of series, a lot of racing in there. You know, talking with, you know, people like Chris Williams, and we're talking to Kevin and Dale the other day at the press conference, and you have to have tracks open. Like it makes everything succeed. You know, we're not taking away anything from anyone else. You know, when the tide's high, all ships rise kind of mantra. So we think it's really important to grow that grassroots program and to keep it going. And I mean, we think North Wilkesboro is a perfect place to do that.
Yeah, when you mentioned Chris Williams, I just had Chris on us a little while ago and was talking about that he is excited about maybe having an opportunity to get back up there with the Smart Tour. He said to stay tuned, as he likes to say. So I can tell by the way you're laughing and the way he was doing. I don't want to miss this announcement because I think it's going to be a good one. But yeah, the thing is, like you say, you need other things, and I hope that if you got 2,000 Corvettes coming through Wilkes County, I hope Mr. H will bring a few of his up there.
I know, I need, yes,
right along. He has got one of the most unbelievable collections of Corvettes that I have ever seen. So that would be really huge. And I think the other thing that is amazing to me, we have touched on this, but we have a moonshine trail that's supposedly associated with the Speedway. What's the status on that? Because I've had a lot of people ask me.
Yeah, so they want to tie like Rockingham and Charlotte Motor Speedway and North Wilkesboro all together on this. So we're kind of working on them. Like, what does that look like? They've got some, those historical markers that they're going to put up. So we're working with them on where that would go. So yeah, we're in talks with them. It's kind of they started talking about it, in the spring, and obviously with the All-Star race, it got pushed to the back burner. So now we got to get those conversations started again. But we're definitely going to do a moonshine trail along with the other Rockingham and Charlotte Motor Speedway that people can stop in.
Well, you know what Benny Parsons said about Wilkes County a long time ago? He said people in Wilkes County either worked in the furniture business, the hosiery business, or the whiskey business. And that right there is what most people sustain their living by, including the late Junior Johnson. I mean, like I say, 1957, he returned to Wilkes County after 11 months at Chillicothe prison for a moonshining violation, and eventually got pardoned by Ronald Reagan. So I just wonder what Junior would have to say right now about how things have turned out so far.
I hope he would be happy. I hope Benny would be happy too.
Well, I think, they got the right person there, working on everything. And the other thing is, tip of the hat back at the SMI, because it would have been just as easy to say, you know what, this has not got a future. We could make a moment in time, but we've got to have a future. And what I love about it, you're showing you're trying to give this place a future. And I know every time I've talked to the folks up there, whenever I've been up there, I always remind them, you got to go buy the ticket. Even if you don't go to the racetrack, you need to buy the ticket and support the racetrack, because you got a second chance, which is unheard of in this industry. We don't normally see a racetrack come back from the dead. And to me, it's what has happened here. Just real quick, we've had some people that have been listening. John Stewart, he said, Jessica, you are a rock star. So, you got a fan out there. And Joseph Zalek, he says, love modified. So I guess if you can get some more modifieds up there in North Wilkesboro, that would be a positive as far as they're concerned. But, it's like always, my heart's there and my support's there. So you just always remember that if you need somebody to sell tickets or work concession stand, give me a call. I'll be glad to do it for you. But y'all done a great job there. And I'm really excited more so about the future and what can go on up there. Because again, everything else was such like I say, a whirlwind. I mean, I just don't think people can understand, as many times as I went up there and could see the progress, how much dirt was moved, how much stuff was changed but not changed. The idea that you're have a historical value at the racetrack, and trying to maintain that 1996 look when it closed down, but make it to where it's safe and operational.
We call it a resto mod.
What do you call it?
A resto mod.
Resto mod. Yeah.
That's what we called it.
Yeah. Well, like I say, y'all just did such an outstanding job. And again, I can't wait to see, what's the next events. One of your employees called me the other day and was asking me about my next time I was going to be up there. And I guess you know who it is, Ronald Queen. And we were talking about some interest that they have in believe it or not, in North Wilkesboro from Appalachian State University. And I guess we're going to do something up there, next month. And looking forward to that. But again, just outstanding job. And if there's anything else you can maybe share with us, anything that maybe is on the horizon that people would love to know about, that they could kind of like, from whether it's buying Christmas trees or making a plan to, go see the new whatever. I mean, up at the racetrack, just make sure you keep us notified.
I will. Yes, we certainly will. Just follow us on social media. We're selling jars of the old track for charity. So all proceeds will go to Speedway Children's Charities, and it will stay in that community. So you can go on the website and buy yourself some of the old track.
Well, I think I'm glad you brought that up, because that was one of the things that Ronald told me back a couple of weeks ago. He had saved me a jar of it. And I mean, that's a piece of history. I mean, people think about North Wilkesboro like people thought about the bricks at Indy. That's a part of it. And 1996 was the last time that stuff was raced on until 2022, and it just got milled up. They like to say it's going to be ground up in a jar. And like you say, great for Speedway Children's Charities and whatever charities y'all deem the money's for. Once again, fans, you can support this racetrack from afar. Have something to put on your mantle. So, Francis,
Jessica, I wanted to jump in there. It was good to see you at the Women in Motorsports out in Phoenix.
You too. Yes.
And I just have to say, Cindy and Lynn, they both put on a wonderful event.
They're awesome.
They just rocked. They had about 450 people in attendance, worldwide streaming. It was a perfect event.
It was great.
Well, Judy, you got to remember, that's like John Stewart said, Jessica is a rock star.
I know. I could see that.
She is, and she's one of those key people in the industry. And talking about women in motorsport, we're going to have a lot more women in the next few days. And so Jessica, there's a lot more women holding very important executive position in this industry. Jessica is the perfect example of it. As a matter of fact, we got the confirmation earlier this week that Sylvia Bello from the Las Vegas Grand Prix, Formula One Grand Prix in Las Vegas, going to be joining us also on Friday. So we're going to see a lot more women on the stations in the next few days. So Jessica, thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you. Happy holidays. Thank you.
Registering on Epart Trade is easy. To start, click on the Join for Free button on the homepage. First, search your company to see if it's already in our database. If you see your company on the list, click on it to select it. Then, choose Claim Company if you are one of the decision makers, an owner, marketing person, or main company contact. Or choose Join Company if you are an employee, and press Continue. If you couldn't find your company in our database, select Register a New Company. On the following page, fill out your name, email, phone number, job title, and choose a secure password. If you chose Register a New Company, you'll need to choose your business type. Select Supplier if you're looking to display products or services and connect with buyers. Choose Racing Business if you're looking to source new parts and connect with suppliers. Choose Race Team if you own or are a member of a professional race team. Then, enter your company name. Please provide a website, Facebook page, or LinkedIn if you have one, and choose to either claim or join the company. You can view and agree to our terms of use here. If you'd like to receive our weekly newsletter, choose Accept. Finally, click Register Now and your registration will be submitted for approval. An email will be sent to your inbox. Please confirm your email address and you will be approved shortly. Welcome to Epart Trade.